Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for protecting my sister-in-law who cheated on my brother? 2 years ago, our family was caught in a huge drama. My SIL had a month-long affair with someone from her night courses. At that time, my brother was absolutely destroyed, and he wanted to divorce her. It was hell for almost 3 months, but he ultimately decided to stay married to her and work through it in counseling. I wasn't a fan of that idea, but it's his life. I think he stayed mostly for their kid. But I honestly think it's been terrible for him. Since then, everything has been miserable. My parents openly hate her now. She has stopped coming to family meetings because it's outright hostile to her. Their kid still comes around, but my mother often badmouths her in front of him. He's only 3, and it's confusing for him. My brother and I went on a road trip recently to pick up our grandmother and bring her to my parents' house for the holidays. It was 4 hours there and 4 hours back. During the drive, he started talking about the rules they have in their marriage now. Here's what he told me: SIL has to come straight home after work. She can only go out if he's with her. He inspects her phone every few days and can do surprise checks. She had to cut off all her friends and can only have new ones if he approves them. She has tracking apps on her phone and AirTags on her car, purse, and even in her running shoes. She does all the housework. Meanwhile, he has given himself a free pass to sleep with other people. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told him it sounded like he was punishing her, not rebuilding their marriage. He shrugged it off and said she deserved it for what she did. I asked him if he even loved her anymore or if he hated her. Because from what he was describing, it sounded like he stayed married just to make her life miserable. He got defensive and told me I didn't understand what it was like to be cheated on. But I do. I've been cheated on, and it was devastating. I separated, and now I'm happy because I didn't want to live in misery with someone I couldn't trust. I told him he wasn't just making her miserable, he was making himself miserable, too. He's poisoning everything for both of them, and their child will be stuck in the middle. I asked him if he would prefer to separate, co-parent, and move on to find someone he could actually trust. I said it would be better than living in this constant resentment. He didn't want to hear it and said I should mind my business. When we got to my parents' house, I asked to speak with my SIL privately. I wanted to see if she was okay because this sounded awful. She broke down crying and admitted she feels trapped, but is staying for their son. She begged me not to tell anyone, so I promised I wouldn't. Later, my brother found out we had talked, and he got furious. He accused me of protecting her and interfering in his marriage. My parents agreed with him and said I should have stayed out of it. They think she deserves everything she's getting for what she did. I feel like this is so toxic for everyone involved. No one deserves to live like this, not even someone who made a bad choice/decision. Their son is growing up in the middle of this disaster. I just don't see how this is good for anyone. Am I in the wrong for saying something? Should I have stayed out of it? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for breaking up with my single mom girlfriend because of the way she spoils her kids and because she acted clingy? I, M41, dated Sarah, F41, for 9 months until the end of 2024. She's a single mom, and I understood that I needed to accommodate her kids, F16, M15, M5, M8. I'm a dad myself, so I fully understand the importance of finding not just a GF, but a potential stepmother and being a potential stepfather. She has a job, and I have a good job, and I'm generally financially stable. I'm mentioning this to establish that she's not starving or anything. We went on dates and occasionally brought her kids along. I don't know if this is a defense mechanism, but I noticed that she interrupts a lot if she disagrees with the conversation, and I had to ask her to stop raising her voice at me. I have 3 kids, F6, M12, F13. I have an excellent relationship with my ex-wife and her husband. My kids have been taught to be discreet and not to demand stuff when we go out, especially if someone else is paying. There's no nice way to say this, but her children are gluttons. I treated everyone at the movies and her children just kept adding stuff. It didn't bother me at first because the movies are the one place where I allow my kids to eat whatever they want and always made sure they are warm enough. She never offered to pay for part of it, nor did she ask her kids to stop asking for stuff. She insisted on wearing a sleeveless dress and left her jacket in her car, despite my warnings about the theater being a bit chilly. I had to give her my jacket because she immediately asked for it when we sat down and her children were cold and uncomfortable the whole movie. After the 3rd or 4th incident, I refused to hand her my jacket but did bring some of my kids' own hoodies for her kids to wear, 2 of which she didn't return, and her older kids started wearing like they owned it until I had to ask for it back. She got mad at me for not letting her have my jacket. She said a real gentleman would. Because going out with the whole family was both a logistics challenge and a bit expensive, I suggested we had dates at home, the children would be included, and we would all be comfortable. She agreed, so I cooked/baked and everyone seemed happy. Fast forward and she started bringing her kids along without a warning. This forced a change of plans. She does have a trusted babysitter, but she insisted that we needed to make memories. I started getting pissed, because she didn't show the same interest in my children, and I brought it up. Last November, I got out of my car to use her bathroom, and when I walked back, 2 of her kids were already sitting inside. It's not the kids' fault or that I didn't want to be around them, but our dates became uncomfortably unpredictable because she would say something and do another. I would leave my house under the assumption of a quiet date, and she would make the decision to include her kids on her own. Last Christmas, I organized gift openings for everyone. Her daughter kept digging in the gift bag and made a comment that I didn't appreciate once she realized there was nothing else for her. She obviously expected / is used to getting more gifts, but that right there helped me make the decision that we are not right for each other. I talked to Sarah about it, but she said kids are being kids. Again, I brought up that her changing of plans at the very last minute stressed me out and that I would be okay just hanging out at home. She seems to understand and we moved on. We went out for tacos at her insistence. Everything was great until I noticed that her kids were ordering the expensive stuff. I immediately asked for a single combination dish for each since single dish steaks and ribs are huge where we went. Sarah said I was being controlling and told the waitress to get each kid what they wanted. Well, her kids didn't even get through half their plates after she lectured me and said she doesn't mess with her kids' food nor allows anyone to do it. I resented that since I was paying, and she made it sound like I was trying to starve them. We didn't spend NYE together because I had plans with my kids. She got mad at me, but I really wanted to be with my kids and to hold our tradition of having our own little party with balloons and non-explosive stuff like confetti poppers. First she called at around 10 p.m., we talked and I went back to my kids. Then she called again, trying to self-invite. I explained, by the millionth time, that this is my special tradition with my kids. She texted that she was taking her kids to the town square and called almost immediately, which stressed me out because I live about 6 minutes away. She said her kids were bored, but I took away the opportunity of having a great family night. I avoided further conversation because I knew it would end in an argument if I brought up boundaries. We talked at midnight and saw each other the next day. I don't know if she has a different concept of relationships or if she's naturally clingy, but she started objecting / criticizing me for having time alone. It's not like I didn't make an effort to spend time together, but I have a very demanding job and I occasionally appreciate moments of solitude to recharge. Well, a few days ago, I let her know that I was going to sleep early and that I wanted to spend the day doing nothing. She still showed up unannounced and I didn't allow her past my doorway. I know it was rude. First, she playfully accused me of having someone at my place, then she also, playfully, tried to get past me. I had to ask her to leave, and then she got very serious and said she demanded full transparency or we were done. She went from playful to a bit angry, then she started getting emotional. I promised I was alone, but if I let her in, I would end things because she didn't respect my boundaries. She came in, found nothing, and then tried to get affectionate. I said we were done. She cried and I felt a bit of pain because I still have feelings for her, but I can't keep acting like everything is okay. I feel guilty knowing that she thinks I'm doing it because she's a single mom. We have exchanged some messages, but I blocked her because she wants me to take all the blame. Maybe I should have been more patient, but her parenting and attachment style did affect our relationship. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.